What's up, guys? Welcome back to the RNTV channel. And today, we're going to do a story time over my top 5 near-death experiences. Alright, guys, we gotta drink water real quick. Alright guys, today we're going to tell 5 stories about me almost dying. But first, before we do anything on the RNTV channel, we're gonna freaking podcast this. Today we're dipping some grizzly wintergreen. And if you're a dumb inbred hillbilly like me and you partake in using smokeless tobacco product, please, if you ain't got one yet, pack one with me, y'all. I don't shoot speed, I don't do dope. The best thing to me is a fresh can of Coke. This is grizzly. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Just ate a big old fat casserole and it's sitting in my stomach. This is gonna be nice. Bud jug I'm spitting in today is the Cryptic Highlander Roadie. Now this is just sexy. Got a real nice matte feel to it, real rough texture. Oh, so if you want a spit tune that fits in your cup holder, spill proof, scent proof, and instantaneously causes girls to want your wiener, then go ahead and go to mudjug.com and you can get you a Roadie edition mud jug, a basic mud jug. All 3 of these mud jug designs are scientifically proven to increase your cock length by 3 inches per spit. So yeah, I got a 6,000 foot long cock. Nah, it's probably about 6 millimeters. I'm just kidding. I have a lifted truck. Obviously, I haven't any. Duh. Also, make sure if you want some badass clothing, go to RNTVshop.com. That's my website. I got my shirts on there. This is all the clothing I wear pretty much because they're really long and then the sleeves are kind of tight fitted. Really soft clothing. My favorite material of shirts. So I'm sure you'll like it too. But I got a bunch of shirts out there. Got some hats. Anything you want, RNTVshop.com. Also like these truck caps a lot because you can do this with. Impress them ladies. If you want to know how I do the hat flip, it's just you get your fingers like that and you just twirl it around. It's really simple. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get started with this. Gosh, I love recording story times, y'all. I just love sitting in front of a camera and telling stories. I don't know what it is, but a lot of y'all like me telling stories and I just love telling them. I need to do this more often. Last night I searched deep into my brain thinking of 5 different scenarios of when I almost died. And these were the only 5 I could think of. But here's the first one. I was about 13 years old. That's when I just started dipping. I thought dipping was the coolest thing in the world. And the way I got my dip back then was my grandma bought it for me. And every time I went to my grandma's over the summer, we would always go camping. And on our way to the Ohio River where we camped, I said, "Hey, Meemaw, can you stop and get me a roll of grizzly wintergreen?" So she got me a roll of grizzly wintergreen. And I never tried grizzly wintergreen at the time. I just knew my buddies dipped it. And I didn't know it was like the higher level nicotine dips out there. So I got down there, cracked the seal, put me a big old fat dip in, and I left it in about 10 minutes. And you know, if you're just starting out, you've felt this before. Oh man, it's getting hot. If you overdose on nicotine, especially dip, you start feeling real hot. You're like, oh my gosh. And it was summer, which made it even worse. I took my shirt off and I was only rocking in basketball shorts and tennis shoes. Whew. I was feeling bad, y'all. And then some dumb redneck pulls up in an F-250. "Hey, do any of y'all want to help me pull a stump out of the ground by my campsite?" I had one of my buddies down there and we was bored and he was like, "Yeah, man, let's go help him." This guy was just trashed, y'all. He had at least 80 beers in his system. So we hopped in the back of his truck and drove to his campsite, which was like a few seconds down the road. And right by his camper, there was a big old stump. And his idea was to wrap a chain around the stump and hook it to his ball hit and just pull the hell out of it and try to pull it out of the ground. Now this stump was really big. Like it was probably from this wall to this wall wide in a circle. So it was a pretty big stump. So in my head, I was like, dude, this guy's crazy. There is no way he's gonna pull that stump out. So we wrapped the chain around the stump. We hook it all up, had like 8 different chains all hooked together, hooked to his ball hitch. So he started pulling. He locked it in 4-wheel drive, differential locks, everything. All 4 tires just spinning in the sand, or the dirt, not sand. This thing wasn't budging, y'all. And let me remind you, I'm really sick from dip at this point. I'm standing at like the worst spot. Like, I don't even know what I was doing. It was a while ago, but I was watching his tires spin and I was walking to the back. I guess I was gonna look at the back tire to see if he was like in mud or something. And I was really sick from dip, so my reaction time was all jacked up. I was just real woozy, whatever you call it. So as I'm walking back around to look, he backs up super fast and just darts forward. Dang chain snaps off the stump and comes flying right towards my face. My head's right here and the chain is just coming right at my head. And oh my gosh, y'all, I am lucky that I saw the chain coming towards my head, because if my head would have like made contact with that chain, I'd probably be dead right now. But I saw that chain coming. I just dropped to the ground. I didn't duck or nothing. I just like fell, and it just boom, smacks the tailgate of his truck, leaves a giant dent. Oh my gosh, y'all, that was terrifying. I just remember that sound, y'all. It was like the loudest sound I've ever heard in my life. Just a big wad of chain just smacking to a bed of a truck. And my ear was right beside the tailgate. But he was super drunk. He hopped out of his truck. What the hell happened? He walks around, sees his tailgate all messed up. Oh man, and he's looking at everything. And so I just kind of like snuck off and went back to my campsite. I was like in shock. My heart was just beating out of my chest and everything. I never talked to that guy again after that. Probably dead by now doing something that stupid. Gosh, y'all, that was spooky. But we're gonna go ahead and go to story number 2. Oh yeah, before I continue, I get a lot of messages saying that their funnel of their dip always gets spit stuck in the funnel of their roadie mud jugs. The funnel's a lot skinnier, so this does happen a lot more frequently than your basic mud jugs. But all you gotta do to solve that is just pop it open and the spit falls right down and gives you airflow. So if you're having that problem, just do that, or just, you know, stop getting so much mucus in your system. Gotta quit sucking wiener, dude. But anyways, this was when I was about 6 or 7 years old. This is when my mom was still alive, and I lived like on a pretty big house. I had a field in the backyard and everything. Just basically a little kid's dream. I had a 4-wheeler, big woods in the backyard. I drive trails all day long, do whatever I want. And back then we had a big old chocolate lab, and his name was Rocky, you know, from the movie Rocky Balboa. And after Rocky died, we actually had another dog named Adrian, which is Rocky Balboa's wife. And, you know, if you watch the movie, it was awesome. But anyways, we had this dog named Rocky. Now this dog was insane. Like, he had ADHD, hyperactive disorder, whatever y'all call it nowadays. Whatever y'all diagnose your children with nowadays to get government money. Like, this dog, anytime it had a chance to be outside without a leash on it, it would just dart down the road and just run everywhere. It ran so fast, like nobody could catch it until it tired itself out, and then you could finally catch up to him. But I'll tell y'all a little story. I mean, this is kind of a near-death experience, I guess. But I just came home from school. I was in like 1st grade, 2nd grade, something like that. And we had one of those red leashes wrapped around a tree, and he was on the tree, hooked up to the tree, and he was just running in circles around it. And me being a little kid, I was like, oh, hey Rocky, hey Rocky. He was running around the tree, and I ran into his leash, and then he just runs around me in a circle, wraps the leash around my leg, then he runs forward, and then I just fall backwards. And then he keeps running hard, flips me over, and then he runs around me again. The leash goes around my neck and then goes around my legs. And then he just darts off away from the tree. And the leash was around my neck and my legs, and it just folded my body up like that. Kind of like a backwards hog tie. About snapped my back and my neck and everything. I had a giant rash right here from that leash, and I remember a teacher called the guidance counselor, and they had me go to the guidance counselor office, and they asked me if my parents abused me at home, because I guess they thought my parents strangled me or something because of a big old rash around my neck. But anyways, that's not the story. Now, this dog was super hyper, but sometimes he'd get in a mood where he had anger problem. I'll tell y'all the small one. The first time, this is the first time he ever bit me. I had a cheese stick, and I kept hitting him on the nose with it because I was a dumb little kid, and he kept growling. Arr. I guess when I was little, I thought growling was purring. You know how like cats, when they like what you're doing, they'll start purring. I thought when dogs growled, they liked it. I just kept hitting him harder and harder with the cheese stick in the nose, and he jumps up, tries clamping onto my face, and I had my hand right here, and he just clamps onto my hand. Didn't leave a scar or nothing, but he gashed open my palm pretty good. Oh yeah, and also this is another time, he didn't even mean to do this. I was laying on the kitchen floor, and he was walking around, and he like walked and stepped on my eye, and like his nail cut right here. You can kind of see. I had to have this super glue. There's like a little scar under my eye. Kind of looks like a bag under my eye, but it's actually a scar. But anyways, I'll get to the main one. But he was sitting on the couch, and at this time, I still thought growling meant that they were purring. I didn't learn my lesson the first time. But he was sitting on the couch. He was chewing on a big old bone, and I grabbed it from him, and he started growling a little bit, and I shoved it back into his mouth, and he would bite down on it real hard, and I kept pulling it out of his mouth, putting it back in, pulling it out. I guess he had enough of it. He just jumped up, and I couldn't couldn't do nothing about it because the coffee table was right behind me, so I couldn't lean back or nothing. He jumped up, clamped right onto my head, and just got me right in my nose, and then right here on my side of my head, right by my temple. I'll show y'all, I got a scar from it. I had to have like 15 stitches, something like that. It's like a big old L shape right by my temple. Yeah, I don't even think y'all can see it with this camera, but if like in real life, you can really see the scar right here. But anyways, I was a tough little kid. I didn't cry a lot, and he just clamped onto my head, and then I just walked up to the kitchen where my sister was. I said, "Hey sissy, Rocky bit me." I was just sitting there, and she said blood was squirting out of the side of my head. Like I guess he busted open a vessel or something. It was just going squirting out like a sprinkler. And all I saw her do, we had like a corded phone onto the wall. She just goes, drops the phone and starts screaming. That freaked me out. She screamed mom's name. She came running in there. Mom started screaming. I was like, I got a giant wad of paper towels, just pressed it real hard to the side of my head, threw me in the back of a car, and drove me to the hospital. They had to do surgery and all that crap, and they had to rush me to the ER, and the doctor actually said if like his canine tooth would have been like a centimeter up more, that I'd be brain dead or dead, whatever. So I was real close to him sinking his tooth right into my brain. But yeah, after that, they was actually debating on getting rid of Rocky because that was like 2 incidents that he bit the crap out of me. So they was like gonna give him away that week, and I accidentally left the back door open, and he ran out the back door and got hit by a car like 2 days after he bit me right in the temple. I remember my mom, after he got hit by a car, she was crying. She threw him in a wagon and rolled him up to the yard, and she was crying, and I got in trouble for looking at Rocky's dead body and saying, haha, that's what you get. I got a few spankings from that. I was a heartless child. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and go to story number 3. This one was very recent. I think I was like 17 years old. I was dating Lexi at the time, so me and Lexi been together like a year and 2 months, something like that. So it wasn't long ago at all, maybe last summer. Heck, I don't know, y'all. But anyways, it was when my truck motor, it blew up from me not putting oil in it after going through a giant mud hole and sinking it. I'll just go ahead and tell y'all the story. I was at a big old bonfire, and I was trying to be a big show off, and I went through a giant mud hole, and mud just splashed over the top of my hood of my truck. I wasn't very mechanically inclined at that time, so all I did was change the air filter, which was literally a big muddy ball squished together. There was so much water in the air filter from my truck sucking up mud that it was just a big crumbled up ball, and all I did was change the air filter. I don't even think I pulled the dipstick to check my oil. But anyways, what I did was I ran myself out on oil. Or actually, I had an oil leak, and all the oil leaked out, and mud replaced my oil, which caused my cam bearing to go out, which means my engine blew up. But anyways, my truck was blown up. It was at a shop because I didn't have the tools back then to change it myself, so I had to take it to a shop. But in the meantime, my parents, they got a Nissan Altima. It's a sport edition, so it's got some it's got some ass to it. So I didn't mind driving around. I like cruising around, you know, kind of firing it up a little bit. But I'm pretty sure like I picked Lexi up from cheer practice, or we was on our way home from school, one of those two. And I was taking the back way to my house, and to the back way of my house, there's a two-way stop. I guess that's what you call it. It's a main highway right here, and then a road that goes straight through it, and there's a stop sign on the little road, and then there's the main highway right here. But anyways, the main highway, the speed limit was like 55 or something like that. And I was coming up to the stop sign, and Lexi was, I don't know, she's on her phone trying to show me something. She's like, hey, look at this, baby. I was trying to see, and I was looking at her phone, and I kind of glanced both ways. Didn't really pay attention, I guess. And in that car, like the doors, the plastic panel that goes on the windshield on the side by the doors, it's really fat, so you got to kind of tilt your head up to actually look both ways. I didn't do that. I was kind of leaned back, and I just looked both ways like that. So I just went to go forward, and there was this car. They was going like at least 80 miles an hour. And as soon as I pulled out, they zoomed right past the hood of my car. Now this is crazy because I slammed on my brakes, and then the car went by. And there's no way I could have seen the car coming. That's what Lexi told me anyway. Like I slammed on my brakes, then the car went by. And I didn't even see a car. All I remember is I was driving forward, and I just saw this giant like white light just go right to my eyes. I don't remember. It was just like, it seemed like it was on the road, like a big old white orb, and it just went zooming right to my head. So I was freaked out. I didn't know what it was. I slammed on the brakes, and then it just vanished. And then as soon as I slammed on the brakes and came to a stop, the car zoomed right past me. I didn't even see the car. What I think that was is like God warning me or something, like, dude, you're about to get hit. And he like just put that big white light in the middle of my face, so I just stopped. I didn't even see the car, y'all, so yeah. God saved my life. But anyways, I was terrified after that. I didn't even want to drive ever again after that, because the hood of my car was like this far from hitting that car, going like 80. So if that car would have just smoked the hood of my car or smoked the door, it'd have killed me and Lexi both, more than likely. And if not that, it would killed Lexi. And if I was still alive and it killed Lexi, dude, I wouldn't even be able to live myself. Killing my girlfriend in a car wreck, and dude, I wouldn't even want to live anymore. But anyways, that was probably one of the most terrifying moments I've ever had in my life. But let's go ahead and move to story number 4. I don't even know why I put that one down. This is like last year, like October, not even that long ago, I got mono, flu, and pneumonia. Like, I was just wiped out. I had a throat disease. I had like everything there is to be wrong with a human. I had the disease in my system at the time, and I lost like 30 pounds, which is, for a skinny guy, that's a lot of weight. I was down for a really long time. Everybody thought I was gonna die at school and stuff, but that was like the sickest I've ever been in my life, and like I pretty much almost died from that. I remember one morning when I was sick, I woke up and there was like so much stuff in my throat, like green gunk, and I couldn't even breathe. I just like raised up, tried coughing, and every time I coughed, it just kept closing up more and more, and I couldn't breathe. Only way I could breathe is I was sitting on the couch kind of like this, and I was just that was the only thing that was keeping me alive. My grandma had to drive me to the ER, and I had to get a bunch of breathing treatments, a bunch of IVs all on my arm. So yeah, if I wouldn't have went to the ER that one morning, I'd probably be dead right now. But anyway, since that one's kind of gay, I'll throw another one at y'all I just thought of in my brain. This is a real short one. When I was probably about 8, 9 years old. My cousin, my best friend, Micah, he had a little sister named Mia, and we always used to hang out at my Nana's house. And I remember when we was little, we always make big old piles of leaves, and we would like hide in the piles of leaves. But I remember my dad, he was driving up the driveway, and we was both hiding in the pile of leaves, and we was gonna like, I guess, try to scare him or something. But he was driving up the driveway in his Ford Ranger. We was hiding in the pile of leaves, and we heard his engine getting close, so we just jumped up. And he slams on the brakes, and the Ranger's like 5 feet right in front of us. I didn't know what the heck was going on. He just drives up the driveway. He gets out, runs over to us. He's pretty much in tears, like his face is just ghost white, sweat dripping down his forehead. But we went inside and he talked to me and he said, "Kenny, don't ever go in the pile of leaves and hide ever again." Because what my dad was gonna do, it was a giant pile of leaves, and he was just gonna drive his truck right through it. So if we wouldn't have popped up and said boo, me and my cousin be dead right now. Like, I remember it, like my dad didn't sleep for like 3 days after that. Like, he was just, I don't know, he was terrified. Like, that'd been awful if he killed us. Like, how would my dad even live knowing that he killed his little niece and son just driving through a leaf pile? That'd have been terrible. But anyways, we're gonna go to the last story, number 5. At this story, I was at my Meemaw's house, but we wasn't camping this time. I was actually at her house staying. And I always used to love going to her house. I think I was like 10 years old at the time, something like that. And every time I came over, there'd always be a brand new something to ride around the backyard and on the field in their backyard. Like go-karts, 4-wheelers, dirt bikes, there'd be always something new. And that time when I got up there, my Meemaw's boyfriend, or husband now, I call him Mark, but he made a go-kart. He painted it green and yellow, the John Deere colors, and he put a big old motor on the back of it. That thing was loud, y'all. As a pull started, it had some ass to it. But anyways, I was so excited to ride it. I hopped in it, driving it everywhere, and this thing was fast. This is probably the fastest thing I ever rode, like as in a little tiny go-kart. It was quick. Aussie track, rear-wheel drive. That thing would cut donuts for days. But anyways, I drove it for a whole entire day. It was on a weekend. I went to sleep. I woke up as soon as it was light outside. I rushed outside to the barn so I could drive the go-kart. I pulled the motor, drove it out, and I was driving for probably about 30 minutes. And I remember I loved the sound of the engine, so I was just kind of revving it up. And I was kind of getting a little cocky with it, I reckon. I was driving on a trail and I was just flooring it and then letting off. Kept doing that. I thought I was the coolest person in the world. But I kept doing it, and then I just started doing it faster and faster. How the throttle was set up, he had a metal cable running off a spring, and it went to the gas pedal, and you would rev it up, and then and then you let off in the spring and pull it back down. But me doing that, I guess I actually broke the throttle spring. The spring was rusty, I guess. It broke in half, and the throttle was just stuck wide open. I couldn't do nothing about it. It didn't have any real brakes. The brakes was actually just like a pole, and it ran all the way back, and it was like little stoppers, and they pressed the front tires. I was going at a pretty fast speed when the spring broke, so I couldn't stop. It would just lock up the front wheels and I would just keep sliding. So I didn't know what to do. I was freaking out. I just cut off into the field. It just kept going wide open, kept accelerating. I was going like 8,000 miles an hour through the field, just dodging all the big old hills and mounds everywhere, all the junk in the field. I was so scared, y'all. Kept cutting real sharp turns to hopefully I would just like spin myself out so I could lock up the front wheels and just do a burnout. After I realized that wasn't gonna work, I just took off straight, and it was a big old flat field, and I was just driving straight until I guess I was trying to run out of gas. As I was driving like 800 miles an hour, there was a giant, like, I don't know, the field was all messed up. There was like a big old mound and then a big hole right under it. And I tried. Hello?
Are you recording?
Yeah, I'm recording.
Right now?
Yeah, right now.
I like calling and interrupting when you're recording.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Well, it's just cute because sometimes you put me in the video and it's just like, because, you know, I can't be at your house, so it's like I'm there.
It's like you're there. Oh my gosh. You're cringy.
No, I'm not.
I'm gonna finish up this video.
Okay, so just realize that when you get done, like when you get done with your video, I'll probably not be able to talk.
Okay. Good night.
I love you.
I love you too.
No, say it right.
I love you too, baby.
Alright, bye.
Bye.
Stop!
Oh!
Am I a speaker?
Yeah.
Wow, I hate my voice.
Voice on. Alright, bye. I love you.
Bye, I love you.
Bye. But anyways, there was a big old mound in the field. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. A mound, a hill, just there was a big clod of dirt. And the go-kart was really low to the ground. I tried cutting the wheels out of the way of it. It was super slick, so my tires were just going left and right, and I was still going straight towards it. And I was going downhill towards it, so I was just going super fast. Wasn't nothing I can do. I just braced myself. I held on really tight, hit the mound, flung the go-kart on its side. I heard a big old doom, something flying across the field. I look up and it's the motor just flying across the field. I guess it broke off the mounts of the go-kart and it just went flying, dude. Like 100 feet away from the go-kart, the motor was. But I actually slammed down so hard in the field, the go-kart was like, the frame was just sunk into the mud. And I was just thinking, like, if I would have flung out of the go-kart and like the go-kart landed on top of me, it was really heavy, it would have probably just like sliced right through me. But I was super terrified, y'all. Like, I didn't even want to ride anything ever again after that. But I didn't even get a cut or scratch from this. The only thing I got was a big old bruise on my elbow where I guess I fell and like hit my elbow on the steering wheel real hard. That was the only thing I got from the wreck. But after that wreck, I didn't want to ride anything ever again. But, you know, I was stupid, so like after a week, I started riding stuff again. But anyways, if you're gonna have a homemade go-kart, make sure the throttle is safe for your children, because stuff can happen. But that's all the stories I got for y'all today. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I know I enjoyed recording it. I love telling stories. I love making videos. I love it all. But if you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you give me a big old fat thumbs up. Like, seriously, dude, if you hate my guts or just whatever, I don't care if you are not subscribed or whatever. Just for once in your life, turn your phone sideways, scroll down, smack the like button, and or scroll your mouse down and click the like button right now, dude. Do it! And also, if you have not already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're almost at 114,000 subscribers. It's insane, I know. No updates on when I'm receiving my YouTube plaque. I'm not sure how to get it. I don't know when I get it. I guess YouTube's got to send me an email, but I don't know, dude. But anyways, please hit the subscribe button. Also, right beside the subscribe button, little bell. Tap it. Make it ring. That way, every time I upload, right on your phone, you get a notification every time I upload if you hit that little bell right by the subscribe button. Post notifications. Turn them on. And also make sure you follow me on Instagram, redneck.tv. But I'll catch you next time on the Redneck TV channel. Remember, always keep on dipping and keep on spitting. Later.